Alright, so I guess this is a day that is responses to Corey C. He's not the only one who's made a video on the subject. I think Digital did, and Lazy Gorillas did, and somebody else might have, but I must have missed it. I still got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I got some Lambdog stuff to watch, but speaking of watching Lambdog for 37 hours straight, so back here in the old hood, figure I'd do a little walk-in video response, and from the old school, got my Starbucks, guns and coffee, baby. So anyway, I was listening to Corey C, and he says to me, or he says to in the video that going to college is a bad idea, and then he had to put a lot of qualifiers for that. I guess going to college is, I don't think going to college is a bad idea. Let's say that as a general rule. No, I guess I would say that going to college is a bad idea as a general rule. Why? Because a college degree is fucking worthless. And, unless you're going to be something like a doctor, where you need to go to classes where they teach you how to cut on people, or, a nuclear engineer or something where you actually are really learning a real thing, like mathematics, science, things like that. A lot of this other stuff is kind of subjective, and you can really learn it yourself. I went to college for history, which, clearly you could just pick up a history book and start reading. So it's not that difficult to learn history, especially, if you were just reading books, you could learn history. You don't need a college degree or a college professor or anyone to tell you anything about history. And the nice thing about history classes or whatever, if you get a good one, is that they put it into perspective for you at the time. Like, this is one thing I've noticed about studying the Bible, is a lot of people take it as literal, or they don't put it in the context of the time, or whatever. So people will say, the Bible says this, and you're like, well, let's put it in the context first, and then we'll see what it says. So it's the same thing with history. You put it into the context of the time, and everything makes a lot more sense. Anyway, let's get back, I guess, to the real point of this video. Is that what's college? Is college worth it? No, I don't think so, depending on what you're doing. I took excuse me, I took a couple of classes outside of my history degree. I changed my major to what's it called? Political philosophy? Political science, that's what it's called. So, started reading a lot of different political philosophers and things like that. And I came to the conclusion that I did not need a college degree. Oh, that's cool. A little bench on the corner. I didn't need a college degree to validate what I knew already. So, and at the time I was plumbing and doing construction work and things like that, which paid, when the economy was good, paid more than all my friends that had college degrees. And you'd probably be more well served going out and getting a job where you are learning a trade, you're learning something real, how to build, how to fix, how to maintain things like that. The most highest paid guy, one of the most highest paid guys I ever met, is getting paid $160 an hour to fix air conditioning units, commercial air conditioning units. That's a shitload of money, man. $160 an hour? You know, this guy works, or no, it was $65 an hour. 160, not 165, $65 an hour. $65 an hour is a shitload. It's still a shitload of money. That's more than, you know, most doctors make, unless you're like a crazy, some kind of brain surgeon. But my point is that most of us don't need to go to college for what we want to do. And if you're confident and you are smart and well-read and you show up at your interview for your job and they say, "Sir, you don't meet our qualifications," and you say, "Yeah, I don't need a college degree. I'm self-educated." And they say, "Well, what are you self-educated in?" And then you lay it out for them in a real way. You don't say, "Oh, well, I read a lot of books." You say, "Well, first I pursued and educating myself in political philosophy, and I read these folks here, and I participated in these forum discussions." Because almost every town, a large town near you, will have some sort of forums where you can go, and a real forum, not a online forum. A real forum is when you go and there's a bunch of people sitting in a room and you sit down and talk about stuff. It's an interesting experience. If you've never been to a forum, you should go and discuss things, especially law forums. Very interesting. Law school forums, very interesting. So anyway, I guess this is me saying that self-educated people will go much farther in the long run if you have the drive, you have the nut to get out there and do it, and be self-educated. So is having one of these flags a subtle way of saying that you're a patriot? Or is it just a guy that likes this flag?